Hello and welcome to the show. Today we have a video for Alexander Christ.
In your 20s, go hook up with that person you shouldn't be hooking up with. Dating in your 20s is messy. Now is the time to give into the urges and desires so that later on you're not resenting yourself or somebody else for it. You need to stop feeling bad for it. Who cares? We're all gonna laugh about it.
It's so terrible. I think it's painful enough for husbands who've given their commitment, their resources, their protection, their reputation, all this stuff that he gives to her so that he can be in a relationship with her. I think it's tough enough for that guy to know that she's had a sexual past before him, especially because those men in the past didn't have to commit to her or give up nearly as much. He's had to marry her and commit to a life with her, whereas this other guy got to sleep with her and there was just a drunken one night stand. He had to give up nothing to have the same access to like sexuality and intimacy. I think that's always going to sting for men. You're never going to love the fact that your partner had a sexual past. But most men, they just push past it. They try not to think about it. It can drive you crazy and cause resentment and jealousy for men that aren't even around anymore, just from that idea, like, what, I had to pay such a high price to be with you, but all these other guys got a discounted rate. I've done private consultations with men who just were driving themselves crazy with this kind of thinking. So yeah, men just try not to think about it. It's like, okay, you may have existed. There may have been other men. I don't want to think about it. Your life started when you met me. We all just agree that this is the fantasy that we're living under. It's just better for everybody.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching this guy's videos because he speaks the perfect womanese. He understands the hidden messages inside the ladies' messages. I think that's the way to say in English. Fix me if I'm wrong, but he's doing it perfectly and explaining this thing, and we just need to learn, listen and learn.
But if we want to talk about salt in the wound, it's this kind of attitude from this woman. And it's becoming more and more common. And it's really just horrifying because there's this trend of women presenting their sexual history to their current partners as though they've done their current boyfriend or husband some kind of great favor. If you're ever hearing women say things like, all those other men, they led me to you. I had to kiss all these frogs before I found my prince. Having sex with all those men in my past, that meant nothing. Okay, that was just instinct. That was just passion and carnal desire. There was no emotion behind it. I didn't love them. Those men, they just fucked me. That's it. But you get to make love to me. Doesn't that make you feel special, darling? With all those other men, God. With all those other men, I wouldn't be able to appreciate what the two of us have. I did it for you. Don't you see? I had to have sex with all those guys. I had to be promiscuous in the past because without that, I wouldn't be able to appreciate what it is that we have between us. I did it for you so that I wouldn't resent you in the future. I mean, what are you meant to say? As the man in that situation, hearing all of that, you're like, thank you. I'm so grateful that you fucked all those other dudes. Lucky me. I tell you, every woman with a promiscuous past, she enters marriage telling her husband that she's been on a journey of self-growth and discovery, and that all that promiscuity, all that sleeping around in the past, that was necessary for her journey. Was it really, or is that just a nice sounding story?
Yeah, this is the place where we need to understand that men and women, we are different. For men, we are the conquerors, and the ladies, they are the ones being conquered. So it's different. For example, if a man sleeps with 10 ladies and the ladies sleep with 10 guys, it just means the guy conquered 10 ladies, but the lady was conquered 10 times. It's a weird logic, but it is weird, and it is different, and that's something we as guys, we have to remember. And we don't talk about this as much as you ladies like to talk about this. So if one of you ladies watching this, remember this. We don't care about your past, and if you start talking about this, you're just digging your own grave. You're just making things worse, because you have a past. It's nowadays, it's almost impossible not to have a past. It's just digging your grave. You're just making things worse. Just remember that, okay?
Because maybe the truth is more like what this woman says. It's your 20s. Go fuck that guy that you know that you shouldn't. You're young. You can get away with it. You can laugh about it later. Go do it. I know that this is pretty like dark. I don't know. It's a tough topic. Men don't like talking about sexual jealousy, but just not wanting to bullshit you guys, I just have to be honest that I really don't think the narrative that men are getting spun out there about like how grateful they should be for her sexual history, I don't think there's any truth to it. I don't think she believes it. I think it's just a story that she's telling you to try and make it a little bit more palatable.
I love hooking up with married men. I love it so much because then I could just blackmail them. I look them all into it at first and it's a mutual relationship. But after we bone, I tell him I'm going to tell his wife everything unless he pays me $500 a week. And that is how you acquire a sugar daddy. Play smarter, not harder. Follow for daily advice.
I had to pause here because what the hell? A couple of weeks ago I learned a new Thai slang or word, how to say. It's Iyangwa. It means WTF? Iyangwa. What is... She's confessing of blackmailing on social media, and you know that the guy can take this to the police. Oh my god. Let's see what Alexander has to say.
Isn't it fascinating what women think that it's okay to confess to just because they're smiling and speaking in a bubbly voice and wearing pink? It's okay that I confess to this crime because I'm saying it in such a cutesy way.
By the way, my biggest ick in the world is a man saying it's attractive that I'm such a hard worker. I've had 2 to 3 jobs for the past 3 years, and a man telling me how much he loves that I'm a hard worker when he finds out I have 2 jobs, nothing could ick me more. Because why are we excited about this? Why are we encouraging this? Why are you not immediately wanting to make my life better and easier and more peaceful? I'm confused.
This is such a classic case of women not understanding that men are different, because women like to speak in code words. They don't like to speak plainly. She's projecting that experience onto the man. What I mean is, if a woman says to a man, I love how much of a hard worker you are.
Let me jump in here really quick. When Alexander says that the woman likes to speak in code word, that is what we call womanese. That's womanese, and he's translating it now.
She's not just expressing admiration neutrally. No, there's an agenda at play. That's code for I am looking forward to being the beneficiary of that hard work. That's why I am encouraging you. I like the fact that you work hard because I can envisage a future where you're working hard for me. But then she imagines that that's what he must be saying and what he's implying when he gives you that same compliment. But that's not how men are. Men are a lot more straightforward. They say what they mean. So if he says, I admire you for how hard you work, he means he admires you for how hard you work. He's complimenting your capacity. That's it. And guess what? Even if you quit your 2 jobs and you become a wife and mother, he is still going to admire that capacity, because being a mother can be tough sometimes. And if you get together with this guy and he says it's fine for you to quit your job so you can stay home with the children, he's still going to be grateful that you're a hard worker and that you have that capacity, because it's going to help him rest easy knowing that you're going to be there for the children, that you're willing to put in that hard work. A woman having a good work ethic is very attractive. It means that men can rely upon you in an emergency. They can count on you to do the feminine half of the household duties. That's reassuring to him. But him saying that he admires your hard work, that doesn't mean I want you to keep working 2 jobs so you can provide for me. No, that's how you would use that compliment. That's not what he means. Stop the projecting. You know, this is another case. A woman's complaint is her confession, right? But from her perspective, the man just seems totally clueless because he didn't realize the response that she was looking for, because when she's complaining about her jobs, there's an agenda. What she wants to do is trigger his compassion, his protector provider instinct. Like, oh, you're working 2 jobs. That must be so tough. Here, let me step in. Let me save you from that. Let me take care of you. That's what she's wanting. And so when he's like, wow, 2 jobs, I really admire that. You're awesome. You have a really great work ethic. You're so capable. She's like looking at him like he's an alien, like the most clueless, moronic person in the world. Like, what? You're complimenting me? You've never met a woman. You have no idea what I'm actually wanting here. But don't blame him. Blame feminism. We were all told that women wanted to be independent and that they liked being financially in control of their own lives. Don't blame us for listening.
Yeah, he explained the situation really well, and probably way better than I ever could. But hands up, all you guys who are watching this, please let me know in the comments if it ever has happened to you that a lady misunderstood what you said. Doesn't mean to be the same situation, any kind of situation. Hands up, I think we are at 100%. All of you. It has happened to all of us. 100%. That's crazy.
What's actually embarrassing is not having a boyfriend like Vogue said, but it's the number of men that are out here performing the loudest version of toxic masculinity imaginable. Men who can't regulate a single emotion, they need constant attention and validation just to feel alive, and they want to be chased and worshipped and receive that princess treatment, all while avoiding accountability. But they'll swear to you that they're...
Wait, sorry. So we've got, they avoid accountability, they need constant attention and validation, they can't regulate their emotions, they want the princess treatment. And did you say that these are examples of toxic masculinity? Fellas, when I say that a woman's complaint is her confession, this is what I'm talking about. This is the cleanest example of projection that I've seen this week.
Masculine because they're dominant and their biceps are bigger than their emotional capacity. Women are then shamed for being too masculine. Babe, someone has to wear the damn pants. Anyway, that's what's embarrassing, and honestly, I find it really sad.
Wait, she complains about men being dominant, but then in the same sentence says that someone has to wear the pants. So do you have a problem with dominance or not? And if masculine dominance is necessary in a relationship, why do women think that they're going to be able to fulfill that? Like, let's say she wants to wear the pants. That's actually a good way of putting it. Clothing, because that's how women treat this. Like, it's like a costume they can just slip on. But that's not how masculinity works. You don't just create it out of thin air. Masculinity responds to respect and responsibility. At its most primal biological level, masculinity is in response to femininity. So if you want masculinity in your man, you have to activate it using your femininity. I think that's what women like this, they don't understand. They are fundamentally facing the wrong direction because they just understand male psychology so poorly. They really have no conception of how it works. You acting like a man, you becoming masculine, that's not going to bring out his masculine, feeling like you're competing with him. Any women listening, if you want to create masculinity in a man, in your boyfriend or husband, then you need to embody the exact opposite of that, the complementary feminine. These women today, they've got no sense of irony because like she'll say, men out here, they're performing the loudest version of toxic masculinity while she herself is like loudly ranting. If you really want men back, like you want men to be manly again, be feminine. Your softness will toughen him up. It's so obvious and simple to me, it feels condescending to even have to explain it to somebody. But yet we've got an entire generation of women who just don't seem to get it.
Yeah, sadly today modern ladies don't really understand it because they feel like they need to replace the masculine energy, but actually they don't. You just have to be feminine enough to let us to be masculine, right? Because we men, at the end of the day, we just want to make you happy. And if you're going to be masculine, we think that is what makes you happy, and we will tone it down and go more inside ourselves. I think that's the best way to describe it. So in the end of the day, we just try to reflect what we think you expect from us, and it's different with lady to lady. And I have been in relationship with really feminine ladies, and I have to say, like, it was really, really nice. And In some ways, I miss those relationships, but that is what it happens. All those masculine ladies, you will never miss them, because you will think good riddance if it's a real feminine lady who likes to bring you peace, likes to take care of the house, likes to take care of the food. Yes, I buy the food, she makes the food. That's the balance, right? Am I wrong? Leave a comment below what you think about this video. I think I learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot. And if you like this, subscribe, like, and go check out the guy's channel, because I'm going to leave the link in the description. And hopefully I will see you on the next one. Bye, bye, bye.